Could you please make sure your cell phones are off or on silent? One way or the other, make sure of that. Nobody has hats on, so I don't have to remind anybody to take their hats off. We'll stand for a few minutes of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, welcome everybody. Nice sunny day out there. The lawns need it, so we'll be okay. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Any changes that need to be made to the minutes? Seeing none, they're approved as written. Correspondence. Anna Webster is our secretary. Hannah, correspondence.
Good morning. To the Board of Directors, please include a request from the Brookridge Men's Club to the Board to allow non-residents to attend our Italian dinner on Sunday, April 7th, 2019 in the clubhouse from 4 to 7 p.m. Thank you, Tom DeGregorio. May I have a motion to allow the general public attendance to the Men's Club dinner on Sunday, April 7th?
I'll second it.
Motion carried.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously.
My name is Amber Lopez. I'm an assistant to Steve Metzer with Becker and Paul Cobb. Mr. Metzer forwarded your correspondence to me in order to help organize the board certification class being planned for April the 3rd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Brookridge Community Property Owners Incorporated. It is my understanding that we will be opening this class up to neighboring community boards and that the firm will take care of registration and promotion. If that is correct, is there a maximum number at which we should cap registration? Additionally, I also trouble you to confirm that the clubhouse address is 8150 Hampton Street, Brooksville. I have a motion to approve the general public registered only guests to attend the board certification course on Wednesday, April the 3rd from 10 to 12 a.m.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ken Sajak. Discussion? Seeing none, presume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is the appointment of the liaisons. Liaisons will be appointed for the following year as follows. Ron Ross, Golf Association and Expo. Linda Smith, Beautification Committee, Safety Committee, and the Expo. Ken Sajak, AVRC Committee, Memorial and Veterans Day. Rosemary Basteri, Finance Committee, Memorial and Veterans Day. Anna Webster, Friday Night Bingo. Ann Nutter, Unit Representatives and the Nominating Committee. And Frank Matthews, ACC Committee and the RV Compound. Those are the appointments of the liaison for the coming year. Andy, you have another piece of correspondence there?
Yes, I do. To the Board of BCPO, I'm addressing the parking lot where the crosswalk to the library and the crosswalk to the pool on the side where the parking lot. The stop signs at mid-block crossings should be set back 20 to 50 feet. This ensures that a person crossing the street is visible to the second driver when the first driver is stopped at the stop sign. Also, the crosswalk portable sign should be placed in the center of the road. Jan Griffith.
Thunder and lightning. Thank you, Jan, and we will take that to the board, take it under consideration with the security department and review those possible changes where those stop lines should be. Next item on the agenda is the general manager's report. Mr. Giroux.
Good morning. One other item not listed on my report is that Vince Pizzo is currently undergoing a kitchen training class today. That's why he is absent. I'd like to thank Amy Coleman, Patrona Terman, Vince Pizzo for completing the annual membership duties while I was out of town, as well as Mary Sweeney, Peggy Christie, Beverly Epstein, the election committee volunteers, and all our unit representatives for processing the election ballots. Purchase orders over $2,000 for March. We had Pool Pros of Pasco, $10,766.70. Blanton Doors for the library door controller for $2,679. Cheyenne Asphalt for $12,500 on guardrails on Misty Pond. FYI, the estimate was for 400 linear feet. It came in less, so they're going to cut us a check back for the difference, which is $1,500. Corbin's contractor, $5,000 for office bathroom remodeling. Ed Jackson, come to the conference, to the South Hall. Ed Jackson, please. Thank you to the Good Times Line Dancing Club for a donation to the Clubhouse Wish List funds. Norma Rankin personally thanks myself, Patrona, Vince, and all the Clubhouse monitors, past and present, for their help and service over the years. The administration office bathroom remodeling is currently behind schedule. The audited financials will be available by April 4th in the admin office for all members free of charge. Email users will receive a link to a secure site for controlled access. The Brookridge Veterans Wall will be updated with new photos this Memorial Day event. Please submit your facts and photos before May 10th to the front desk of the administration office. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. The other report that's attached is the violation report for the month. Showed a total of 69 violations. Most of those are closed, noted as ones that are fined, and move forward from there. We have no unfinished business. We'll enter into new business at this point. And say, Jack.
Yes. AVRC appointment. Appeal Violation Review Committee, herein after reference as A/VRC. The president or designee shall administer the oath of office to committee members. Members shall not be officers, directors, BCPO employees, or relative of any officer, director, or BCPO employee. That's SOP 2.3. I make a recommendation to approve a new member, Michelle Adams. I propose a motion to appoint Michelle Adams to the AVRC committee.
Have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Linda Smith. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 100 and unanimously, 100%. Michelle? There she is. You want to come on up? Hi, Michelle. Can you hear me? Okay. This is not very loud, I'll speak loudly. Would you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly promise and swear that you will administer the office to which you've been appointed to the best of your ability and judgment in community with the governing documents of Brookridge community property owners, that you will, in all your acts, be governed by the principles of honesty, justice, and fair play, every manner of possible endeavor to promote and safeguard the best interests of the citizens of Brookridge and the welfare of its members? Do you so swear? And you may lower your hand. By power and destiny, I confer on you into this committee. Thank you very much for your volunteerism.
Thank you, Michelle, for stepping up.
Good job. And that's nice.
Y'all happened to notice as I walked up there, there was comments from the end of the table. It was another woman. Okay. Next topic is road paving. Topic is paving bids. We received 2 bids for paving of the 6 out of 6 written requests and out of a newspaper ad printed in the Tampa Bay Times. Square yardage for this year's project is considerably lower than previous years and could be the reason for no other bids. 2018, there was 48,600 square yards. 2019 is 24,000 square yards. Recommendation is that we waive the 3 bid rule since we only received 2 bids. Motion to approve Underwood Paving for paving this year's roads of $133,771.50, of which $15,400 would be paid by the BCCGA for the parking lot cost of paving their parking.
I'll second it.
Have a second by Ken Sajak. Discussion. Any discussion from the audience?
What are you paving?
You want to come on, want to grab up to the mic? Hate to ask that, but they want to get it on film and so everybody can hear. Please give us your name and unit number again for it.
I don't matter. My name's Ralph Wilson, Unit 6. Whereabouts are you paving? You said
Ralph.
Parking lot, I didn't know.
Ralph Wilson, is that correct?
Wilkes.
Wilkes,
W-I-L-K-S.
thank you, just for my records here. The roads that are being paved are Weatherford, Ridgedale, Modena, Skynerd,
Oh,
Midmore, and the golf course parking
oh,
lot,
the golf course parking lot.
and they are paying us for it. For they get a lower bid for their project.
That's all.
Thanks, Ralph. Other questions? Seeing none, I'll presume the board is ready to vote. There's a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor signify by saying yea. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 100%.
For the next item, for the floors. I emailed everybody. Okay, that was, just make sure you got the cards on it. And it's got the description. Yes.
Not that one. Next item on the agenda is a clubhouse replacement approval. Clubhouse floor replacement approval. We're not going to replace the clubhouse. I don't want to start rumors. The activity that you just saw up here was making sure that the board had a copy of the revised paperwork that was put together, so some changes have been on that. Topic is clubhouse tile floors replaced. We received 3 bids for the floor replacement in the clubhouse. Quotes were also include the baseboard and the hallway half paneling. Nature Coast Flooring provided 3 additional quotes to upgrade the flooring to 30-year commercial warranty product that requires no annual waxing maintenance. That would be a $1,500 per year savings over the 30 years of right around $45,000. Recommendation is to approve the clubhouse floor replacement using the quote from the vendor with funds from the reserve account 3210-12. The current balance in that account is $212,263. First motion is to open the discussion for floor replacement for clubhouse flooring.
I'll second it.
I have a second by Ken Sajak. Discussion.
As I said, I thought Vince was in school today, so we were both going to present this info. We have, and this information was also uploaded to the website agenda package yesterday. So we received, quote A is from let me go to the podium. Quote A is from NDRS. This is the same vendor who recently completed the North Hall men's room and ladies' room remodeling. The quote includes the wainscot half-wall paneling in the hallways and using the same type 12 by 12 VCT tiling currently on the floor now. Quote B is from Empire for $65,146, does not include the wainscot half-wall paneling, as they do not do that type of work. The tile is the same type currently on the floor, 12 by 12. Quote C1 from Nature Coast is the same vendor that replaced the flooring in the security office at the admin building. They have offered a quote for the same flooring as currently down, now at $73,096 plus $22,184 for the wainscot half-wall paneling, for a total quote of $95,280. So A, B, and C are like kind in quality, with the exception of the wainscot on quote B. The upgrade, quote C2 from Nature Coast, is an upgrade to non-maintenance tile with a 30-year commercial warranty from Earthworks. The tile is a 16 by 16. This would eliminate the annual waxing at up to $2,000 a year and closing the hall for a week. Currently performed and closing the clubhouse for a week to wax. That's $45,000 up to $60,000, including labor, over 30 years. That quote is $102,076 plus the $22,184 for the half-wall wainscoting, for a total quote of $124,260. Quote C3 from Nature Coast is an upgrade to non-maintenance tile with a 30-year commercial warranty from A and M next floor. That tile is a 12 by 24. This also would eliminate the annual waxing, currently performed and closing the clubhouse for a week to wax. That quote is $104,596 plus the $22,184 for the wainscot half-wall paneling, bringing that quote to $126,780. Quote C4 is the quote for wainscot half paneling, $22,184, that may be used if quote B from Empire is the board's decision. And quote C is an upgrade in material and appearance for the clubhouse and is recommended product. Quote A is recommended quote for the same appearance, no upgrade selection. I hope that's perfectly clear. And I included, they did give me the paneling or the wainscot. It's a single sheet paneling instead of fitted. It has the upper base and the lower base included. And I have the paneling over here, samples that Vince and myself would suggest. The Earthworks product, okay, in a light color. That's recommended by Vince and myself and the vendor, but it would be a 16 by 16 paneling.
So Ray, that 16 by 16 tile would be actually an upgrade from what we have now, the 12 by 12s, plus it offers the no maintenance,
Correct.
so we don't have to worry about that.
And that is the big selling point on this quote.
Ray, you didn't give a quote price on quote A, did you, for NDRS?
NDRS
You didn't
price,
have it in the
I did
did
not.
you mention? Okay.
It is $87,905.
Okay.
And that includes the wainscot, and that is just replacing the tile with the same type of tile we currently have, and we would continue maintenance on an annual basis. Yes. Yes.
I have a quick question, Ray, about the wainscoting. Is the wainscoting that we have now damaged?
It has to come off, and it's old and deteriorated.
Okay, I have not been all around the clubhouse,
Sure.
so to know, but that was my one question. So thank you for answering that.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Give it a wake-up call.
I have a couple questions about these quotes. There's quite a bit of difference between 73 and 127,000 revised. There's quite a bit of difference in the pricing. Are we actually, do we really want the wains on the wall in a high traffic area like that?
This is, that has to come off, and we can't reuse it.
Correct, but do we need it in a high traffic area? Is it protecting the wall, or
It
is
is.
it just deteriorating?
Well, it's both. It's protecting the wall, and it is deteriorating.
Okay, and do we really want to spend all that more money when we can, around 75,000 with a 5-year commercial warranty rather than a 30?
That's not my decision.
Okay, I don't know that. I think that's necessary. I think 5 years is more realistic. But anybody wants discussion? Thank you.
Well, in my opinion, I like C2, 30-year commercial warranty, which the halls get a lot of wear and tear in traffic. There's be no waxing for 30 years. So we're going to be saving a lot of time and money, labor. So that would be my vote, even though it's a little bit more money. I've learned in the long run, being a homeowner, you don't get, when you buy cheap, you get cheap.
Other comments by the board?
I'm in agreement with Ken Sajak. I was going through the figures too. C2 is the one that I would recommend. I know it's a little more money, but the figure that I had between that quote and the quote from NDRS is $8,900. $8,900. Again, between 124 and 195 is $8,900. That alone, the difference is for maintenance, we're going to save over $8,000 in the course of 4 years. So I look at it as we don't have to worry about waxing, we don't have to close the clubhouse. And it's gonna last, we have a 30-year warranty. I know I might not be here in 30 years, but our goal has always been to improve the appearance of our community. And it's right about the wear and tear. There's a lot of take down, put up of tables and chairs. We have the dances, we have other functions in here. And I think the quote from Nature Coast, the C2 quote of 124,260, in the long run, even though it's more money out of our reserves, it'll pay for itself.
Others? Frank?
I'm just curious what kind of tile this is. Is this stick-down tile, or is it a floating floor, or?
Floating floor, yeah.
Oh, it is, is
Yeah.
it waterproof?
Bring the microphone up.
Is it waterproof? And does the warranty for 30 years include labor if something needs to be fixed? I know a lot of companies don't last 30 years anymore.
My immediate answer would be no on the labor. After, I would assume 1 year for installation is most of it, but I will verify with Nature Coast.
So it's essentially a 1-year guarantee?
1 year on labor, but that's my assumption. I will verify that and get back to the board.
Thank you.
Anna?
Somebody monitor this soundboard because I get a lot of feedback. So it just keeps going up and it's popping up.
I'm following up with Rosemary's comment about C2 for the $102,076. We would also be adding the wainscot and for $22,184. Is that what you thought too, Rosemary?
Yes, Anna, because that's included, that would be included in the total price of the job, the wainscoting.
Okay,
So-
yes, absolutely. So
Yeah.
it would come up to $124,260 using the C2 quote.
Right.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Other comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from the audience? Nope. Wait.
I just have a question. The 22,184 is for the wainscot, and you people say that it's in C2, but, okay, so then you have to add another 22,000 to that.
Yeah, if you're looking at C2,
Okay.
the
So it's a
total of the wainscot would be the
combination.
124,260.
All right,
Would-
and it does say about the no maintenance needed. That includes on the wainscoting? Does that have a protective coating on it?
No, the 30-year warranty maintenance is strictly on the tile.
Okay, thank you.
Audience, I'm going to start in the front, come back. If you'd come up to the front, that microphone over there working well?
Double check.
Name and unit number for me, please.
Rupp, Unit 4.
Plug right into the end time.
Couple questions. Has anybody seen this 30-year floor, say after 10 or 15 years, to see what it looks like? You know, if it's anything like roofing, you buy a 30-year roof and you get 15 years out of it. If you buy a 50-year roof, you might get 25 or 30 years out of it. So is this flooring like a roofing? I'd like to see what it looked like after 10, 15 years, if somebody's got anything on the floor. I think it's a good idea, and even if you can get 15 years, it's probably better than what we've got down here now. But 30 years is a long time.
Ray, do we have an idea, is there any place they can take us where they can put this down?
I wrote that down.
Okay. Others? Tom?
Tom Gregorio, Unit 4. Ray, or does Treasurer know what the reserve fund has in it for replacing the floor of this club?
Yes, it's included in the package. $212,000 is currently in the reserves as of January 1st.
Just for the floor?
Correct, for this element. The element includes, one second. Last year we did the restrooms, remodeled that out of this element. Furniture and tables were replaced from this element. Audio-visual bingo cabinets are listed in that element. Ceilings, which were done in 2011 from that element. Kitchen equipment, which was the stove, that was done from that element. VCs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 have been replaced under that element. 9, which is the AB gym, and 11, which is, I believe, it says C room, that was done. The one in F room. 2 saunas are under that element. The restroom renovation from 2009 and 2011 were done from that element. The mansard metal doors, roof EPDM, that was done in 95, was from that element. Walls, metal siding windows were done, and automatic doors cover that element.
So basically, Ray, the entire clubhouse is under that element?
Mechanically, the things that are not are your pool and rec equipment, tennis court, shuttles, obviously parking lot, and most items that are in that element have been replaced in the last 10 to 15 years as well.
Okay, so if we do spend the $120,000, how much left would you have in the reserve for the clubhouse?
Annual funding is $27,000 that is going in this year. 212, 230 minus 130, so $100,000 would be left in that element at the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Ray, that funding is per reserve study, right?
The funding, yes, funding is all done by the reserve study.
Other questions?
Am I on?
Yes.
I'm Pete Deal, Unit 6, and I might have missed something, but
Sorry.
why do we need new floors?
What's your name? Name again real quick, instead of real fast.
You're on, just speak louder.
Pete Deal, Unit 6? Pete Deal, Unit 6, I'm just curious, why do we need new floors?
I'm going to leave that one to you, sir.
Well, the floors are old, they've been down 30-odd years. We've had some problems over where the doors are hitting them. I know where it's dug tiles up. They've had to work to try to replace those. And what we're looking at trying to do is get a consistent floor all the way through, something that's going to upgrade just a little bit, but will clear up the problem areas that we've got. Other questions or comments? Speak right into the end of the mic. Name and unit number. That's the only way these mics really pick up well, is right into the end.
Candace Rose, Unit 4. How long is the clubhouse going to be impacted with this work? Will it be shut down, activities suspended? Do we have any idea how long it will take?
We are anticipating putting this project, if approved, in sync with the swimming pool project. Once we get a schedule on the pool being closed for the repairs needed out there, we'll bring in this project. So we are anticipating a 4 to 8 week process. We don't know exactly, so I'll just put that out there. Our intention, if approved, is to focus on the hall, get that project completed as quick as possible so the main hall can be brought online and then they can move down to the side rooms.
And when are you planning to start the project?
It will obviously be permitting and pool, getting the vendors in sync and materials. Realistically, Brookridge tends to complete its projects between May 1st and September 1st.
Other questions? Tom? You have 35 seconds.
That's for me.
Don't call me Gail.
You just told us that this floor is 30 years old. The products that they're making nowadays, I assume, would be better than this stuff. So why would we buy something when we get something that's 10 years? This has lasted 3 times that. And I'm sure that I would imagine, I'm sorry, I wouldn't say I'm sure, but I would think that the new products will be a better choice because you would still get 15, 20 years out of it. And none of us will be around to see to say that we're the blame for putting that stuff in. But our reserve funds are going down and down and down. And I think that we need to concentrate more so on increasing that reserve because things keep going up and up and up. We spent a whole lot of money in bathrooms and stuff like that. They're beautiful, but I don't know why we spent that much money on those. I don't know who designed it or picked out the design. And in addition to that, almost every project that we've done has run over $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. So again, you're pulling more and more money out of the reserve. If God forbid there's a hurricane and the roof of this thing comes pouring off, or the administration building, that $100,000 is not going to cover that. So, just my opinion.
Thank you, Tom. As I spoke at the annual meeting about the treasurer, I have emphasized, you're saying our reserve funds are going down, yet you do not want to approve our budgets. The only way we're going to get the money in the reserves is if we increase the budget. And I think I explained the cost of everything that's gone up in price over the years, the few years that we haven't had any money going into the reserves in over 3 years. So the only solution to that is to please, when the new budget comes up, approve it.
I would like to answer you. May I?
Yes.
You're right. Okay. However, the last raise that we lost by $2, by 10 votes for the reserve, I know way more than 10 people that did not vote it because every time Gail opened her mouth, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to, but I'm just telling you the absolute truth, okay? She said that whole $2 was going in, all right? When the budget came out, it showed, and it's not a matter of the money, it's a matter of we were lied to. It was $1.70 something. You can add more into a reserve. You can't put less in. So that whole $2 could have gone in and you would have gotten that done. The other thing is, you have people in here that are just tired of getting asked for money every year. Every year. If you guys wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years and ask us for $5, you probably get it. But you gotta understand, there are some people that have a good income from pensions and everything else, but there's also many, many people in this community who have been here 15, 20, 25 years on Social Security. If you know what Social Security gave out 25 years ago, and with a 1% increase, even if it happened every year, which it didn't, okay, they're not gonna, you're gonna make these people move out of here, okay? They moved in because it was reasonable, they can do it. If you people want to have more and more and more stuff, there's plenty of other communities. If you want more stuff, go to Timber Pine, go to Wellington, go to wherever you guys want. But this community was for people that could afford it.
Keep our comments on the floor.
Just also additional point that, yes, God forbid a hurricane comes through, that's why we do have insurance that is not reserve funds. This is for the long-term maintenance and upkeep of the community only.
Frank, I saw you grab the mic down there.
Yes.
I just look around here and I know it's nice to have a whole new floor done, but I don't see any bad sections from where I'm sitting, and I don't know why sections can't be replaced in where wear areas are without replacing the whole floor. And the way it sounds to me that these same areas are gonna wear again before the rest of the floor does, like with the doors closing there. Just a thought in my mind that, you know, if you can't afford the whole floor, then you do what you have to do.
Any other comments from Ann?
I just like to know that, God forbid, if we do have a hurricane and the insurance kicks in, we do not get 100% of the value. So we would have to go into the reserves.
Those are deductibles, correct? You can't avoid deductibles.
Exactly.
Right, but that's not the point of this. You have maintenance schedules, you have a reserve study. If you want to do half the job, sure, you can do that. And again, all this reserve study is online at brookridge.com, and feel free to look at it. 2019, the reserve elements, these are done by the professionals that come in here at least every 5 years to tell you what you need to do. And in addition to the asphalt, so we're in 2019, they funded yeah, this is the 15 version. We had an update in 2017. On the 2015 version, annual expenditures at that time were scheduled to be $883,000. That was for the boulevard overlay. That's my time's up, so I'll yield back to the floor.
Other questions or comments?
I think my voice can be loud enough.
But it won't be on the tape. Please use the microphone. Talk right into the end of it.
It just sounds to me that there are enough issues.
Your name, please, and unit number.
Oh, sorry. Leslie Hargett, Unit 4. It just sounds to me like there are a number of issues.
Talk into the end of it. There you go.
Leslie Hargett, Unit 4. Is that okay? It just seems to me that there are a lot more issues here that need to go to general membership and encouragement, maybe articles in the newspaper with the comments and the issues so that there is a more informed group to make recommendations, make comments in writing, whatever. Because one of the big divisions in all of these discussions is the they, them, and who, and are we using the money properly? Thank you.
Mark?
Mark Keller, Unit 4. To answer the gentleman's comment down at the end of the table there, when I was in construction and you buy tile, you can't do a section at a time because it comes in lots and colors, and you have to get the lot color for the whole floor. If you do bits and pieces of the floor, you might not get the same lot color, and then you would have a patch quilt looking floor. So that's one thing you have to consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Giving you lots of time here. Ron?
Ron Masacchio, Unit 4. I've been living in Brookridge for 21 years, and I was president of the corporation in 2000, okay? I'm a contractor, I was a contractor by trade. Of course, I've retired and everything, but I worked on all of this, a lot of these things. And I understand how all of you people feel about things and spending money. But this community has improved tremendously. And the way we got our money, we set up the reserve at our time. It wasn't required at the time when I was president. But we had set it up. And it's just like the way you operate the community. And the thing is, we've done a fantastic job, and I think our community has done a fantastic job. And if you compare what we get here for any other community, wherever you want to go, and I understand you got to try to save your money as much as possible, but you also have to improve. And the thing is, the quality material and everything has improved tremendously. And if you can get this kind of warranty and save on maintenance and those type of things, I think it's worthwhile for us to consider. The reserve that we've got in there, yeah, you can put $1 million in reserve, but if you don't use it to improve your community, it doesn't do us any good. I'm sorry. Yeah, we need more, but you're talking about the money that's being used and what we've had. And as a result, I'm sorry, but you know, you can save and save and save. Cost keeps going up. And I think when they talk about asking for an increase, everything has gone up, increased completely. And the thing is, you do have to turn around and spend more money, even over doing the same things of what we got. Just our taxes alone on stuff have gone up, and they go up percentage-wise, not just $1 or $2 or 10 cents or whatever that is. So I just giving you my comment and my thing and try to explain some of the individual problems that we've got. And like I say, save the money, fine, but at the same time, improve the community, because you know everything is going along and is improving at a tremendous rate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy Barnett, Unit 1. I was wondering, is there any way, I know like you do fundraising for certain things, could you also do a fundraiser to help with the floor, or you can't do that? Okay. Thank you.
No, it's taken money, it's covered in the reserve, and that's where the reserve funds are in for that. We can't do a fundraiser for that. Thanks so for asking. Anybody else? Last call. Gail said the meeting would be shorter. Paul.
3 minutes or?
Depends how long it takes you to get to the podium. 2:55, 2:54, 2:50.
Just because he mentioned Gail's name, you didn't have to jump up. Paul Harrison, Unit 3. I just want to express to everybody and the board, the biggest slap in the face to the board last year was turning down a $1 increase. That money could have been used, it doesn't sound like much, but it could have been used. I was on the budget committee working on this budget, and we put it together with Ray and the other committee members. It was really a skin bones type budget. Now that we rejected, like Ray had said, he had to cut $40,000 out of the budget this year. We all know stamps have gone up 5 cents if you want to mail a letter. This has gone up. Gasoline, has gone up 40 cents a gallon over the past couple of weeks. So I know we're all working on a tight budget ourselves, but to turn down a $1 increase last year was really a slap to the board. Last question, the wainscoting that you're replacing, is it going to be identical to what we have or totally different?
Totally different.
Okay. Darker, lighter, right?
Similar in tint.
And on the color you picked for the flooring, my suggestion, we all know a lighter color shows the dirt more. They have to wash these floors, Ray, still?
Correct, washing, yes, waxing.
So a darker floor won't show the dirt as much as a lighter floor like this does. Thank you.
Thank you. Beverly. You just made that under 3 minutes, Paul.
Yeah.
Beverly Epstein, Unit 6. Investments in our community over the years that I've been here have been very good, and all investments have made the value of our homes increase and makes our community very desirable.
Thank you. Well, that was a quick 3 minutes. Any other discussion at all from the board, from the audience? Seeing none?
So your motion is strictly discussion. Once you've concluded your discussion, there's no vote on this discussion. You'll need to present a new motion.
I'm a little confused with what he said. There is no more discussion, so it's closed?
No, the motion was to open the floor for discussion on this, which is, and we got a second to that, and that's what we did. We don't need a vote on that motion because it was just an open discussion.
Okay,
and put it forward from there.
I understand now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Seeing no other discussion, I will present another motion to approve quote C2. So the motion would be to approve up to $124,260 for the contractor for Nature Coast. Funds available from the reserve account 3210-12. Clubhouse balance current is $212,265.
I'll second.
I have a second from Ken. Discussion from the board at all?
Yes. Are we going to vote on that before we go see it somewhere else like we talked?
Yes.
Okay.
Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Opposed, 1. Is that correct? And Webster. And Nutter, I'm sorry.
I abstained.
And Frank abstained.
I would like to see the product in another establishment, like Frank said.
Mr. Giroux, I'm gonna bow to you for a quick second on parliamentary procedure on that.
And you've caught me, so tomorrow we can clarify this in our attorney's meeting on your position of abstaining for no reason. You would either vote for or against. As a 7-member, you have no conflict of interest with this vendor?
No, I guess I vote against that.
Okay, then if that's the case, then it would be 5-2 in favor. Again, the notations for
5-1.
5-2.
2. I'm sorry.
Frank and Ann, Frank Matthews and Ann Nutter have voted against the project. We have 2 referrals to catch up. What's on page 1 was the waterproofing location and one other notation on to follow up with. This gets us into the conversation with the contractor to answer the questions. Contracts will be signed, which are not being done now, because there's going to be other information provided to the board as a whole for that information, again, that the questions brought up, and if there is a local location that currently has this product, and if so, for how long. Am I clear on all the exceptions?
So in summary, the motion is passed, but before contract is signed, we will get the answers on the waterproofing, and if the product is available locally that's been down for a period of time,
correct.
You see that before we sign the contract. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So the
Board
board
understand
always
that?
has the chance to not sign it.
Okay.
This just gives you permission to sign it as a whole.
So that motion passes.
Correct.
Violations Committee, Mr. Sajak.
Let the record reflect the following paragraphs will be inserted into the appropriate AVRC case decisions when noted and herein after reference as paragraph A or paragraph B. Paragraph A, the fine and or suspension of privileges imposed will continue until compliance is met. It is the violator's responsibility to notify the code enforcement officer if compliance is met. Upon verification of compliance, any fines or suspension of privileges after the initial suspension is served will cease upon payment of outstanding fines and or administrative fees. Paragraph B, all action, punitive or otherwise, decided by the BCPO Board of Directors will go into effect immediately upon all reoccurrences of this violation, 12 months into the future. If a reoccurrence happens, fines and suspension of privileges will be imposed immediately until compliance is met, in accordance with BCPO Rules and Regulations, Article 12, Section 3, and Section 6. I'm going to go off of my sheet. It's just going to be a little bit out of y'all's order. Case number 7676. Address 14290 Rialto Avenue. Violation of vehicle parked on a vacant lot. The recommended penalty is $25 per occurrence and suspension of 14 days. Paragraph B applies.
Can I get a second? Is that a motion?
I made a motion. Must be the weather. I make a motion.
Motion's made, seconded by Rosemary. Is Mr. Cowell or Mrs. Cowell here? Neither of the parties are here. Robert or Alice?
Let me redo that motion. I make a motion, recommended penalty of $25 per occurrence and suspension of 14 days of privileges. Paragraph B will apply.
That's what I had. That's what I had.
Here we have a second by Rosemary on that. Are the parties affected here? I don't see him. Any discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Case number 7667. 9166 Admiral Street, a complaint of excessive barking dog. I make a motion, recommend a penalty of $25 per occurrence and suspension of 14 days of privileges. Paragraph B would apply.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Linda Smith. And Mr. and Mrs. Sutton here. Would you like to come to the podium to speak to that?
I'm not a very good public speaker.
Neither am I, though. That's okay.
The only thing I really have to say is this on?
Yeah, just speak it.
Okay, is that better?
Right up to the, yeah.
All right, the only thing I have to say is I have a very big dog, and yes, he does bark. Huh?
Name and unit, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sheila Sutton, Unit 4. He is a very big dog, and yes, he does have a loud bark. However, we have worked very close with code enforcement and trying to rectify the situation. He is limited with his time outside. He is only outside for about an hour a day, and I think everybody can attest to that. I have several letters from neighbors. I have no complaining neighbors except for 2 that I know of. And I really feel this is unfair to us and to our dog, that he can't be outside like every other dog that barks in the neighborhood. I've done a metal check in 18 houses, between 6 in front of me, 6 in front of me, 6 in the same row as we are, and 6 in back of us. There's 12 dogs total in 18 houses. They all bark. My dog is no different from anybody else's. And he doesn't bark excessively. He doesn't bark at night. He's inside by 8 o'clock at night. He never goes out. I'm not going to say never. My husband walks him at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom, and that's it. And he's inside the rest of the day until 4:30. And then he's out from 4:30 to 6 at the most. At the most. Consistent barking? Absolutely not.
Questions from the board?
I have letters if you like them.
I just want to notify the board that I am a neighbor and I am abstaining from the voting on this case.
I'll make copies at the office. And
Okay, I don't need what, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I gave them all to you.
Okay, I'll make copies.
Well, and can I say, can I give you more information?
Yeah.
Captain Schubert?
Okay. On a number of different occasions, at least 24 different occasions, myself, Officer White, Officer Calderbank, Lieutenant Cope, and Lieutenant Lukovic have all been out at this property. I have sat in a vacant lot next to this or near this property on multiple occasions, trying to listen for the dog barking, trying to verify this complaint. With over 25 to 30 different occasions, none of the 5 of us have been able to verify this complaint of excessive barking by this dog. It is my strong recommendation that this motion be voted down and this case be closed.
Anybody else in the audience that wants to speak or needs to speak to this? Mr. Keller?
Yes, I'm speaking
Microphone, name and unit number, please.
Mark Keller, Unit 4. Madeline Condon yields her 3 minutes to me to read this letter. It says, ladies and gentlemen, the Board of Directors of Brookridge. You have copies of signed complaints dating back to 2016 regarding this barking dog, as well as a letter I sent to the Suttons. I have also contacted Animal Control twice and have had the Sheriff's Department at my home. Each of these departments advised me to keep signing complaints until Brookridge enforces its own codes. Rules and Regulations, Section 16, pets. No pet shall be permitted to remain if it disturbs the tranquility of Brookridge or of the owners, occupants, or tenants thereof, or is dangerous, annoying, a nuisance, or destructive of wildlife. Restrictions, Section 20, pets. Pets may only be kept or harbored within a house so long as such pet does not constitute a hazard, nuisance, or annoyance to the occupants of the neighboring homes. Article 10, page 31 of 38, Part 9. No pet shall be permitted to create a nuisance nor threaten, harass, or annoy other residents even when the pet is on the pet owner's property. Before signing any complaints, I walked down to the Sutton's home to ask that they control the barking. Mr. Sutton told me that his dog has the right to bark. My son also went down to the Sutton's home to ask that they quiet the barking because it was impossible to sleep at 9 o'clock at night. Mr. Sutton informed my son, Mrs. Sutton informed my son, that was tough stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I have gone through all the proper channels over the past 3.5 years to try for peace and quiet. All I can do now is ask that you enforce our rules, regulations, and restrictions regarding this dog. Signed by Madeline Condon. Now, can I have my 3 minutes?
Or 3 minutes.
I'm sorry. Okay, Mark Keller, Section 4. Now, Mr. Schubert and I have gone round and round about this. It only takes 4 seconds to drive around that corner. There's been times he's driven around the corner, or one of his people, and as soon as they're gone, the dog comes out. Now, we knew this was going to probably be an impossible task because everybody in the area there owns a dog except for Madeline and I. She was a dog trainer for 35 years. She knows how to train dogs, and she showed dogs for 35 years professionally. I raised dogs. I had 2 of the best dogs around, and they were yipers, but I controlled them. When I told them to hush up, they hushed up. And there was means of doing it. We don't want to see the Suttons lose their dog because we know a dog's just like part of the family. But there's means and ways that the dog can be controlled. Now, I'll admit, the dog has gotten better. Michelle and I talked about this last night. The dog has gotten better. But something, you know, if this goes on in the summertime and people walk by all the time, more in the summertime than they do in this cold weather, the dog just barks at everything. And we've got a recording of the dog barking for 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then we were told by Mr. Schubert there that he wouldn't do anything unless we could record that dog barking for 1.5 hours solid. Now my attorney said that was absurd. So, you know, like I said, we don't have anything against dogs. And it's kind of hard to try to do something against somebody that has a dog when everybody in the neighborhood's got a dog. I have one, but I can't put a fence up without taking care of all, you know, my aerating system and everything in the yard. I'd have to have it all removed and redone. So that's all I have to say on this matter. Thank you very much for your time.
Since Mr. Keller brought it up, I will indicate that yes, we did receive a letter from an attorney in regards to this fact and about placing it on the agenda. Also, a letter was sent back to that attorney from Steve Metzer, our attorney, as well as a letter was sent to the complainant. Mr. and Mrs. Sutton, a question from me. You said you're now only having the dog come outside 1 hour a day, is that correct? Other than when you walk him in the morning?
Right, an hour and an hour and a half.
Okay. Is that...
Oh, sometimes he doesn't want to stay out that long. It just depends.
Did you start doing that before or after you received the letter from Mr. Metzer in regards to making changes?
It's pretty much always been that way. You know, we usually go outside around 4:30 in the afternoon, and we're back inside by 6, and fixing dinner or whatever. But, so that's his usual time to be out. And I'll agree that when we first moved in, there were trees back there, and he barked, he was a puppy, and the squirrels were in it. We've since had the trees removed. We planted a vine that kind of obscures his vision a little bit in the summertime when he comes in. If he really gets going crazy, we get him inside as quickly as we can. We're doing the best we can. And like I said, I don't have a problem with anybody else in the area.
You indicated on December 5th with security that you may purchase a bark collar for the dog. Did you?
He's 7 years old. I'm not sure if my vet would recommend it, but I can ask. He's going to have an appointment this month, so I will ask. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President.
You want to come to the podium?
Nancy Barnett, Unit 1. I have 2 little dogs. One is awesome, the other one is a terrible barker. So when I came here, I thought, well, I don't want people to listen to him. I didn't want to listen to him. So he's just turned 8, and he was 7.5, and I did buy a barking collar. And when I take him for a walk, he's amazing. He does bark at stuff. And now when I bring him into Lanai and people are walking, I just put it on him and I don't put the battery in it, and he doesn't bark. So I would recommend it. It's awesome. It's what helped me with my little guy. So that's what I would suggest. And like I said, he's small and he's like 14 pounds, but the barking collar worked amazingly. And I was just so impressed with it. I didn't want my neighbors to feel, but we have other dogs that bark, which is fine. But I just think that would be something you could maybe look into that would help. Thank you.
Captain Schubert.
Yes, Mr. Keller referenced a video. That video was actually taken in the street about 30 feet from the dog. The dog was barking at Miss Condon, who was taking the video, and in the video you can see Mr. and Miss Sutton come out and take the dog and put it inside. The fact remains that right at that intersection, right down from that intersection, is a vacant lot that I have spent multiple hours in my vehicle, listening for dogs barking, any dogs barking in that area. Probably spent a total of about 10 to 12 hours in that vacant lot trying to verify this complaint. This complaint has not been verified by anyone except Ms. Condon and Mr. Keller. Our rules and regulations do state that if it is a nuisance, it can be removed. But this dog, as far as I am concerned and code enforcement is concerned, is not a nuisance. It is actually just a dog being a dog, and I'm unable to verify the quote, constant barking that is alleged in the complaints.
Madeline? Microphone, name and unit number, talking directly into the end of that.
Madeline Condon, Unit 4. I know where you park your car at the end of the street. I see it because I live right there. At 2 in the afternoon, the dog is never out. Okay? And I can't speak for the rest of the neighbors. They have dogs. I do not. I don't like to hear a dog barking. If I wanted to hear a dog barking, I'd go to a kennel and listen to them. I have the right to have peace and tranquility, as it says in the rules and regulations. But I feel that I am being put down because there's only me and Mark Keller. Everybody else has dogs. They're not going to complain, obviously. Obviously, they're not going to complain. And that's all I have to say about that, because I do see you drive by. It takes 4 to 5 seconds. I see the car parked at the end of the street. At 2 in the afternoon, the dog is never out. The dog comes out. I can have it verified by a company that I have at my house. When we sit on the patio and I have to listen to that dog barking, it's very annoying. And I think, as the lady said, a bark collar would stop this immediately. Bark collars do not hurt the dogs. They control them to be nice to their neighbors. And I understand you have 3 dogs, so you obviously are in favor of them. So what I have to say is, I have the right to peace and quiet, as it states in the rules and regulations. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Sutton, if this were to be set aside by the board, would you be willing, if it was set aside, to get a bark collar for the dog and start using that to try and?
As long as it is safe for the dog. When I checked with my vet, which I said he's going to have an appointment this month, and I will check with the vet to see what the best fine would be to get for him and the safest.
So that would be a yes, depending on what your vet tells you about the safety towards the dog. Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
The motion made is correct.
Use it. We have a motion on the floor to approve this. Is there an amendment to that, or is the board prepared to vote? See.
Can we table this until we get a response from Mrs. Sutton as to the barking collar for the dog? That would be my recommendation, and not to fine her right now until we hear that she has gotten that collar or what her veterinarian says. That would be my recommendation.
So are you making a motion then that we put this on the Wednesday agenda for this month to find what the vet has said and where she's at?
Yes, I am.
Sorry, we already got a motion. We can't add another motion. We have a motion on the table for a complaint of excessive barking dog by Ken and second by Linda. $25 per occurrence, paragraph B applies. Ken Jack would need to amend his motion. You would conduct a vote and vote this down and introduce a new motion, but we have a motion on the floor.
With motion on the floor, then I'll presume that we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
I abstain.
All those opposed, same sign. I'm gonna ask you to voice it a little louder for my deafness. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion fails.
Motion fails 1 to 5?
Correct, with one abstention. Is there any other motion that wants to be made towards this?
Complaint's closed.
The complaint's closed.
Complaint's closed. We're done.
Case number
I'm done. I
7663 is next.
called for that, and my fault. Ken.
Case number 7663, 14317 Brookridge Boulevard. Vehicle registered to live in Alicia Rivera, Florida, tag JHQH44, parked on road at 1:40 a.m. on 3/11/19 per night patrol log. I make a motion to recommend a penalty of $25 per occurrence and suspension of 14 days of privileges. Paragraph B will apply.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Linda Smith. Any discussion by the board? Ms. Rivera, could I get you to come to the podium with the microphone? Be sure and state your name, your unit number, and speak directly into the microphone so they can hear you plainly, please.
Speak right into it.
Speak right into the end of it, Ms. Rivera. Just hold it up. There you go.
My name is Irma Rivera, and I live in Brookridge Boulevard. The reason I wanted to come and speak with you, I understand that the car was outside, which shouldn't have been, but I would like to tell you what happened. I've been in the hospital 4 times last month and this month, and my granddaughter, who helps me, is the one that is her car. She came home with a fever, and she laid down. The reason that she parked outside is because my daughter-in-law had come to see me because I had just come from the hospital, and she had parked on my driveway. Well, she came before my daughter-in-law left. She parked it on the road. So when my daughter-in-law left, she had been laying down sleeping because she came home sick herself. I don't mind paying the $25 because the car shouldn't have been there, and I will pay for it. What concerns me is the suspensions. What are the suspensions? You don't tell anybody what suspensions are. Somebody at the office told me that they will not let me go, don't let me use my tag on my car back when I go back and forth. Now, I have to go to doctors practically every day. And you know, my saying is, only the good die young. And I want to stay long here. So I have to go to the doctors. So what are the suspensions? You know, a bunch of suspensions. What are they? Please let me know, so I know.
I guess I've been given the mic. The suspensions are, first of all, the barcode, which is most important to most people, but all the amenities in Brookridge. The amenities include the clubhouse, RV compound, anything that Brookridge owns, the pool, you're suspended from. That property will be suspended from.
But can you just take that away? And
No, I'm sorry, but they go hand in hand.
But you're not even going to concern yourself with what happened? That's why the car was there?
Well,
She was sick and she fell asleep, and I was sick myself, so I didn't know that the car was not there, or else I would have told her.
You have to speak into the microphone. We can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I said that the reason being is that she was sick and she fell asleep, and I had been sick, so I'd been laying down too, so I didn't know that the car was there, or else that would have never happened.
well, you have a driveway, right?
I'm sorry?
You have a driveway?
Yes, but what happened was that the driveway, you know, a couple of people have come to visit me because I just come out of the hospital. So they left, but she had come inside because she was sick. And she laid down, she fell asleep. She would have never done that if that happened. I mean, you know, if she would have known in the car that nobody was in the driveway.
I'm sorry, but your question is what can we just pay the fine and the suspension? Well, they go hand in hand. It's a $25 fine and a 14-day suspension of privileges. And in a lot of cases, I have seen cars in the visitor lane leave Brookridge faster than me. So it really, sometimes I wonder if I'm in the wrong lane. Maybe I should get into the other lane and say, I live here. and I can get through instead of me sitting in the lane going out. So 14 days are going to go really quickly. But I'm sorry to answer your question. $25 fine and 14-day suspension go hand in hand. There is no negotiation.
Director
Well,
Cedric.
that is too bad because people do have reasons what happened.
Right.
And I pay my dues and I do everything right, so.
Mr. Rivera, this also is not the first time this has happened at your residence.
It's true, but it was many years ago that it happened. It wasn't, you know, recently. And at that time, we did what had to be done. With my other granddaughter, because it wasn't my car that was parked out there.
Was it the other granddaughter both times?
No.
Okay.
No, the other granddaughter lives out of my home. This other one is here because she's helping me, but she got sick herself. Where do I pay the $25?
You would end up going up to the office. They'll take care of that for you. Other comments? Seeing none, I'm going to presume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We are entered into the report on directors now, so I'm going to turn to the directors. We've got 3 new ones. They obviously probably won't have a director's report at this point, but turn the floor to the directors for reports.
I have nothing to report at this time. I have nothing to report at this time.
No, I have nothing to add at this time either.
Yes, Michelle, I want to thank you very much for stepping up for the VRC. I appreciate it. You're a full-time person here, and you're exactly what I needed. As far as the Memorial Day, so it's going to be on the 27th of May, I'll be looking for an Army person that would like to carry the colors for that day. So if you just contact the office and then they'll let me know, and I greatly appreciate that.
I'm new to the board, and I am going to be the liaison for the RV compound and the ACC committee, and hopefully I can help in those 2 committees. I was on the ACC committee before as a member of the committee, and I was on the committee with my mind is gone cold here. The unit reps with Peggy Christie. So, thank you.
Thank you. Entered into member comments now, and I'll turn to my board first. Any member comments from the board?
Yes, I would like to thank all of on behalf of the Musiceers, I'd like to thank all of those who attended our concerts last weekend. With your donations, we're going to be able to put on a Christmas concert, which will be in the middle of December. We're looking for singers. We start our first formal rehearsal